First Blood. We have long suspected that the heretics use a network of secret tunnels to traverse the highlands undetected. Given what you overheard, I fear that Snowcloak may be riddled with such passageways, and that the heretics in Boulder Downs are planning to use them to take our forces unawares. Needless to say, we cannot allow that to happen. A contingent of Halstor and their knights are on patrol in the area, and I shall order them to begin searching for the heretics at once. But knowing nothing of our enemies' numbers or readiness, I cannot say for sure that they will be sufficient. It would put my mind at ease if you would consent to assist my knights with the search. I know they would take courage from the presence of so storied a warrior. Raybrin endeavours with them at Boulder Drought. If alone is kind, we may catch these heretics before their plans come to fruition. Show them no mercy, Joseph. The lives of our allies are at stake. According to Lord Drillamont, it had long been suspected that the heretics used secret tunnels to travel throughout the highlands of Corfus, undetected. In light of the information you overheard, he is convinced that the heretics encamped in Boulder Drowns now plan to make use of such tunnels to ambush the Allied forces in Snowcloak. He has ordered a contingent of Ulster and their knights to begin searching for the ambushers, but he believes that your presence would do much to bolster their efforts. Travel to Boulder Trails and Renaissance with the Ulster and their knights. You arrive in Boulder Trust to discover the Knights of Ulster and their slain after what must have been a desperate battle with Iceheart's followers. Before you can take stock of the situation, you find yourself surrounded by the surviving heretics, who are plainly hungry for retribution. Though they fight with the passion of true believers, they are no match for you, and soon they too lie motionless in the snow. What now? For want of a better idea, search the heretics' bodies for anything which might offer some insight into their plans. You rifle through a heretic's knapsack and find a curious parchment with dates and times Act upon it. Could it be of significance? Lodge will not will. My knight sent no word of your coming, Joseph. What has happened? What is that in your hand? By the Fury, those were veterans with years of service. And now they lie dead in the snow. Their bodies must be recovered and... No, we have not the men to spare. Not now, not while Hysart prepares to summon an abomination. The heretics you dispatched were not of sufficient number to contend with the combined strength of the Temple Knights and the Crystal Braves. There must be others, and I'll wager they are on their way to Snowcloak as we speak. To make matters worse, it seems the traitor you followed managed to pass the heretics something of value after all. The parchment you recovered is a timetable of the guardsmen and watches at our outpost in Snowcloak. The traitor was stationed there long before he aroused our suspicions. Would that we had caught him sooner. With this information, the heretics would know when the watch was weakest. They could use the annals with impunity and prepare their ambush. The timetable has not changed, you see. Of course it will be changed now, but the heretics may already be in possession. House-Durin there must send reinforcements, even if it means withdrawing knights from the Stone Vigil. We can see no other way to safeguard the lives of our allies. The Path of Righteous. Time is of the essence, Joseph. While my knights make ready for the part, the heretics may take our allies in Snowcloak unawares. Superior training and equipment will avail them not if they are cut down ere their swords are drawn. But all is not yet lost. If you leave now, there may still be time to warn them. Make haste, I beseech you. Fly to Snowcloak and tell Sir Amrek everything we have discovered. Joseph, this is a welcome surprise, perhaps the only one thus far. As you can see, we have yet to uncover any of the... You have my gratitude. Truth be told, we suspected the heretics might be plotting such an attack, but that we have confirmation, I shall place my knights on high alert. As Commander Love, you have been informed. The Braves must be made aware. Your warning comes as a little surprise to Sir Amrek, who reveals that he had been anticipating an attack. Keen to reassure you, he pledges to place his knights on high alert. Perhaps Alfinot will wish to do the same. It must be here. I am certain of it. Why else would they go to such lengths to defend Snowcloak? It is but a pity this discovery comes when our enemy has us at such a disadvantage. Forewarned though we be, the heretics have been far better than we. They not think we are watching us at this very moment. I found it. This is all wrong. Isart has us scrambling to save our own skins when we should rightly be straining every sinew to find her and stop this demon summoning. There she is. Come here, girl. That was close. They didn't hurt you, did they? Only my pride, either. There will be others nearby. We must see that they are given a similarly warm welcome. Come and I love you. There's been a development, sir. Together with the Temple Knights, we have secured the entrances of some half-dozen tunnels after spotting the enemy breaking the surface. But that is not all, sir. We think that one of them might be important. Certainly the heretics near flung themselves upon our throats to defend it. Aha! Just as I suspected. Amongst this warren of tunnels lies the entrance to Isart's lair. Summon the others. We're going in. A moment, Alphinaud. This tunnel in question is barely wide enough for 2 men abreast. We cannot say with any certainty where it leads, much less what is waiting for us there. Furthermore, we have no way of knowing how many heretics are still lurking here on the surface. What if they were to converge on this point after we enter the tunnel? For all we know, we could be funneling our forces into a trap. I take your point. If the tunnel is indeed as narrow as you say, greater numbers would be more a hindrance than a help. Should we encounter difficulty, our own allies would become an obstacle to escape. A change of plans. While we rid this of us with Sir Emmerich and keep the heretics at bay, here you will go whenever the tunnel leads. If you find Isart at the end of it, do not let her escape. You venture into the unknown, so see that you are prepared for anything. I suggest you call upon your allies, though not too many, or Papalino will sulk. Even as Alphinaud laments the search operation's lack of progress, 2 heretics reveal themselves and charge towards the startled young man. Before you can rise to his defense, Sida appears as if from nowhere and subdues the heretics with a flurry of blows. The battle for Snowcloak has begun, and for a moment Alphinaud is concerned, until fortuitous discovery of a promising tunnel serves to brighten his spirits. Alas, the tunnel is rather narrow and will not accommodate more than a handful of troops at a time. Given that additional numbers may prove more of a hindrance than a help, it is decided that the task of charging the tunnel should be entrusted to a small and highly mobile party of seasoned adventurers. Speak with the stalwart Temple Knights to learn the location of the tunnel. The entrance to the tunnel, sir. It's just over here. Had we not seen the heretics breaking the surface, we would never have noticed it. Per Sir Amrick's orders, we will stand guard outside. Please be aware that ever should you encounter significant resistance, we cannot leave our post. Were it not for the knight's directions, you would never have found the tunnel's entrance, which even now appears to be nothing more than a continuous piece of ice. What dangers lie within Isart's secret fortress? We know only that the heretics are expecting you, and that it would be a pity to disappoint them.
The tales do not do you justice, warrior of light. Yes, I know who you are, and you know who I am. I was given the name Izel, but I earned the name Iceheart. This endless cycle of hatred, of bloodshed, of sorrow. You would see it continue, O noble warrior of light. I would not. I will not. I will bring an end to this war between dragon and man, no matter the cost. In time, you will come to understand that what we do for the greater good. For Eorzea, for Hydaelyn.
What we do for the greater good. The words of a true believer, spoken in all solemnity by the woman was known as Yazael. It is plain that she will not be swayed from our path. Though weary from your previous encounter, you prepare yourself for battle, only to see your foe make instead for the nearby Ephorite and teleport away, as Iceheart has eluded you. Though you fail to apprehend Iceheart, you have driven the heretics from the lair. Hopefully Alfinod will take comfort in this partial victory. That took longer than I expected. What news, Joseph? So Iceheart is but a pseudonym. Not that it matters. That she managed to escape is regrettable, but from your description of that beast, you did well to come as close as you did. In any case, now that you have cleared the path, the Temple Knights can begin to survey the tunnels in earnest. Perhaps they will even find a route past the ice wall. Wouldn't that do wonders for their fight against the heretics? The Crystal Braves would certainly share the credit for it too. 12 be praised, Joseph. We may yet turn this situation to our advantage. Assuming we stop Iceheart before she summons Shiva, of course. Needless to say, our fellow Scions have not been idle, and Phil and Yuri and Jer have been busy pursuing the archives of House for Temps, gathering what information they can on Shiva. Which reminds me, if you were intending to hatch back at Camp Dragonhead to report on the day's events, don't. The antecedent should be here any minute. I can only assume some people enjoy subjugating themselves to this cold. Ugh. The path to righteousness. Alfinod receives your report with surprising optimism, turning his thoughts to how recent events might contribute to the Crystal Brave's good repute. Of course, everything is contingent upon the successful prevention of Shiva's summoning, but with the aid of the Scions, and you in particular, the young commander is confident that all will turn out as it should. For the greater good. Antecedent, you come to us straight from the archives of House for Temps. I trust your time has proven fruitful. Would that it had. Rianger and I scored countless texts, but what we found was of questionable veracity. Accounts of Shiva's life and deeds are sparse and contradictory, only agreeing upon one point. She lay down with a dragon, the gravest of all sins according to Ishgardian faith. Yet in the eyes of Iceheart's followers this was a holy act, the blessed union of man and dragon. How such a thing could even be possible is quite another question. Suffice it to say, I very much doubt that we will find a useful answer in the archives of House for Temps. Much knowledge has been lost over the centuries, though in this case one wonders if it is by circumstance or design. You said that Iceheart took a moment to plead her case prior to escaping, did you not? Viewed without prejudice, most would agree that bringing an end to an endless war serves the greater good. I think Sir Emmerich might take issue with her methods. I do not care if a few stragglers manage to escape. Until the sappers confirm that the tunnel is safe, the men are not to search it. Yes, Lord Commander. You pursue your foes with less zeal than I had expected, Sir Emmerich. Lest you misunderstand, I do not deny that our enemy has given us good reason to be prudent. I merely meant, you being a man of faith, that I had expected a certain single-mindedness. After all, was it not by either will of alone that your ancestors came to this land, where they took up arms against the Dravanians? What would they have done in your position, I wonder? There are those who believe that faith is a renunciation of free will, that unquestioning devotion is required of all who would live a life in service to the Fury. Such righteous fervor may well serve a knight on the front line, less so a leader of men. We are all at liberty to interpret the scriptures as we will. I choose to believe that the Fury would value the lives of our followers over the deaths of our enemies. But I would not presume to speak for the Knights of Eld. It was a different time, now a different era, and scripture tells us only so much. Would that it told us more. That man is awfully pragmatic for a servant of the Holy See. A welcome trait at the negotiating table, to be sure, less so when one's enemies are making ready to harness the power of a god. Mayhaps he does not truly believe that Iceheart's plan can succeed. Truth be told, I too remain somewhat skeptical. Shiva was real, a living, breathing woman, of that there can be no doubt. In this respect she differs from any other figure to have been summoned, each of whom was worshipped as a god. The sole exception being good King Mughal Mog XII, the myth made manifest in response to the fervent supplications of the Mughals guard. Saint Shiva may differ, but what of the heretics? They are a tribe of outcasts at war with a mighty nation, who yearn for the resurrection of the one who embodies their beliefs. Is that not placing one's faith in a higher power than what is? Crystals and conviction mean philia. They have them both in abundance. Can it truly be all that? Can that truly be all that is required? My survey team has concluded a preliminary analysis of the Aetheryte Iceheart used to escape. They believe that she teleported to another Aetheryte somewhere not far to the west. Despite the apparent proximity of this second Aetheryte, however, they have been wholly unable to detect its presence directly. Unless Iceheart has some means to mask its signal, I can only presume she had it destroyed to prevent us from following her. Without the means to teleport as she did, we have no choice but to search for an alternate route, most likely a tunnel, assuming one exists. Let us not give up on teleportation just yet. One of our colleagues in Ian may be able to assist us. I pray that you are right. I do not think how long it will take us to survey the entire tunnel system. While Medvedev looks into our Aetheryte problem, I would like to request your assistance with another matter. The third unit is currently tracking the remnants of the heretic force which attacked us. However, the search goes poorly despite our numbers. Corfaz is vast and Iceheart's followers know the terrain far better than we. Your knowledge of this region may serve to hasten the process. The sooner we capture Iceheart's followers, the sooner we can press them for their leader's whereabouts. Also, though it admittedly a selfish request, I feel that my braves would benefit immensely from working alongside you. While we have our share of veterans, we also have more than a few less experienced recruits, many of whom look up to you in case you are not aware. Good, I knew you would understand. You appraise you of the details. When the task is complete, come and find me at the observatorium. Captain Neil Bird and I are meeting there to discuss the latest developments in his investigation. The Temple Knights shall hold Snowcloak in our absence. Let us leave them to their work. Ours is more pressing.